Our team, our locker room was pretty darn quiet when I went in after the game, rightfully so. I expected it to be. But I said we're our own worst enemy. And we had a lot of unforced errors, unforced turnovers, especially against the zone. And then we had some situations, I thought from a defensive standpoint, one of the plays that really killed us was with 3 seconds to go on the shot clock, and we talked about switching everything, and I believe Destiny and KP switched. Destiny didn't stay on 23 and she hit that 3 and she was open. We had the momentum at that point. That would have been a big rebound. We played good defense. We had a good defensive possession. Then coming down in transition at the end of the game, KP tries to go to pass to Mo on the, she's not even ready for the ball, and she's just trying to get position instead of taking it and getting to the rim. We got to have players that want to take shots at the end of games and learn how to finish. Right now, we don't have that. We don't have the player that wants to be the one. They're like 23. We did a good job on Lewis. We did a good job on Lewis most of the game until crunch time, and she's a crunch time player. And that's where and I'm talking mostly from the perimeter, because at the end of the game, your guards have the ball in their hands for the most part. And they got to be able to create. They're the ones who create opportunities for our post players. The other thing is, at the beginning of the game, the first 5 minutes, we kind of dictated that first 5 minutes by trying to force the issue too much to Destiny. At the same time, when she's double teamed, she's got to make good decisions. So, our effort was good, our energy was good, but we got to learn how to finish, and we got to learn how to put the ball in the hole. Keely Frawling's got to hit some shots. We got to have. I thought KP passed up a couple of threes, and she's got to be a little bit more selfish with the ball. On the flip side of that, we're playing a player totally out of position at the point guard in KP, because I'm not happy with our other point guards right now. So, it's what I call searching for that player.
You mentioned the defense you played against Zakira Lewis, who came in as the conference's leading scorer. Mm-hmm. And yes, she did hit a couple of late shots, but you held her to 4 for 16 shooting. What was the key to defending her, and overall, how pleased were you with the way you, I don't know if you can say took her out of the game, but the overall defensive performance against her?
No, I thought we did a pretty good job on her. Then she started getting to the line too much. I believe she was 8 for 8 from the line, or I thought we held her in check for the majority of the game. We chased her. We tried to blitz her anytime there was a ball screen, tried to trap her as much as possible, get the ball out of her hand. So a couple times when KP was guarding her, she helped off, and of course you just hold your breath when you help off and they kick out to a player. Now she doesn't need any room. It's like at one point she took a 3 in the corner. I said, KP, get closer. And she looks at me and she says, I'm already like this. I said, well, get closer, because you got the shot off. And she almost hit it, but we did a good job there. We just didn't do a good job everywhere else. I thought they were more physical than us on the boards. They had some big post players and some good post players. They did a good job double teaming, but we got to do a better job pushing people back and out of the lane.
UCF got off to a fast start, and then you guys came back, closed it at the end of the first half, took a lead early in the second half. What changed? What adjustments did your team make that allowed you to close that gap and then take the lead for a while?
We talked about being patient, coming out, not trying to rush things, and executing, and we did, and good things happened. And then all of a sudden, I think KP has a turnover, then I think she has another turnover, and then somebody else. It's like contagious, and that part was frustrating, because you see it happening, and then and then they tighten up. I mean, they have to learn how to play through that. When things aren't going our way, they have to learn how to play through it. And just like you look at the end, KP takes a 3, it looks good. The ball goes in and out, and I can't remember the score, but it was a key 3 at the time. And at the end of the game, we're down 4, and with the first 2 threes, I had no problems with. This was maybe, I can't remember, it was 20, 15 seconds left, but I had no problems with. But that last 3, we didn't need it. Get to the rim. Get yourself a foul, get to the rim, create something. Those are things that you got to be basketball savvy. You got to have better basketball IQ.
Alicia Froling gave you her third double-double of the year, 18 points, 11 rebounds. Where does this rank in terms of her best performances since she's been here with you?
I mean, it's pretty solid. She's still got to do a better job of playing better defense. She got to do a better job of when the rebound goes up. Both her and Keely need to be more physical players. That's an area that they got to get used to. Instead of pushing somebody back, she tends to look up and and also coming out of timeouts when we call things. Sometimes she has missed assignments, and from those standpoint. But I mean, she's a competitor. She's a fighter. And I like her intensity. She'll mix it up with other players, but she's got to learn how to be more physical in a way without getting tangled up. She likes to get tangled up too much.
She had 1 3-pointer coming into today and had 2 today. Are you going to start drawing up plays for her on the perimeter?
She actually can shoot the 3. I mean, she's, as her wrist has gotten stronger, she came in when she first got here. She was coming off surgery, and she can barely shoot 5-foot shots because she couldn't follow through. And it's still, it's still getting better and still getting stronger. I don't think it's 100%, but I think you'll see her shooting more perimeter shots as she gets stronger.
Knowing you and how competitive you are, obviously no loss is satisfying, but your team came back from trailing several times to close the gap. Is that a sign of maturation and that you're getting that close to breaking through in some of these games? We put herself in a situation to get down 12 that was frustrating with unforced errors. That, we had control of the game, and what I mean by that, necessarily not by the score. We were up 3 or something at that point, the second half, but we had the tempo, we had things going our way. Then all of a sudden they trapped, and we're floating the ball, we're turning and passing without squaring up to our. I try and talk to our kids about numbers to numbers, and you can't pass the ball sideways, and and the bottom line is we don't have that one player that's willing to take over a game. That's the thing. That's what we're missing right now, is that we just don't have that player that's willing to take over a game. Like I said, a perfect example at the end of the game. If KP was willing to take over a game, she would never look for Mo there, because Mo wasn't even. It wasn't like it would be one thing if she was in the corner spotting up and open. Mo was on the move, trying to get out of her way. She was just trying to get out of her way so she can get to the rim. And KP didn't think about it. That part, that part's disappointing to me. What's the hardest part? You mentioned KP moving to point guard, taking over, filling in there, but she hasn't been trained as a point guard all her life. What's the hardest adjustment for her, and how is she doing in terms of that adjustment, learning that new position on the fly?
I think learning on the fly, I think she's doing okay. I mean, what it does is it takes away from her ability to run plays for her off the ball. It puts more pressure on her because she has to defend. She has to defend the best offensive player most of the time, and I think it's a tough position to be in. The problem is with Mo, and one of the reasons I've been, Mo will give you some things, but she makes too many mistakes in a hurry. She's got to learn. She dribbles into traps. She's got to learn not to pass across her body. She's got to learn how to, don't make your height a disadvantage. She makes her height too much of a disadvantage, and so she comes in and it's a turnover, and then 2 possessions later it's another turnover. Well, it's kind of like, okay, what are you giving us defensively? I mean, that's she's an average defender. She's not super quick. And she's not big there. So coaches look at it and go, okay, where's the give and take here?
Good. Thank you much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.